Cloak and Dagger, Season 2, Episode 3 thoughts. This episode is called Shadow Selves, which I think is a Jungian concept and certainly does make sense for for Mayhem. Another episode I love. Spoilers for everything MCU leading up to and including this episode. The episode is rated TV 14, so will this video be? Let's dive right in. So, I really appreciate getting to see Mayhem before, and now I can just call her Mayhem. Getting to see the various things she's been doing over the, 8 months or so, and she is kind of the Again, I think it's called the shadow self, the darker side of Bridget, and basically does the things that she wishes deep down that she could. And let's see. Right, we see Father Delgado reaching rock bottom, and I mean the concept, not the Facebook Simpsons meme group. And let's see she's even Mayhem even has like a conspiracy wall, which just makes me hope that Jenny Nicholson, I'm happy with how frequently she posts, but I'm looking forward to the next one. Now, let's see, I was gonna say hope she posts again soon, but that sounds like being judgy, and that's not how I mean to. I think that just the bit with the coffee was kind of, she sneaks into the other cop's car, which was that I feel like we've seen. Was he the one watching the room also, maybe? So yeah. And the thing with, you left the car unlocked, and he's like, oh, and she's like, get me a coffee, and then he walks over to Bridget, and she's like, thanks, I don't know where this is coming from, but I appreciate it, And that was also, the other cop telling Bridget, if you keep asking about Connors, someone's gonna think, you're responsible, or was it asking about you, something, if you're not careful, people are gonna think you are responsible for Connor's disappearance. And let's see. Yeah, she does not take the flirting, the guy flirting with her. I'm not. It's not for me to say whether it is excessive or appropriate when because she later on he's like, I'm sorry, I made eye contact, so that's, I mean, I feel like he was being creepy, but it's not for me to say. Yes, so let's see, then we have the, right, I thought it really worked with the episode is basically them trying to beat Mayhem to where Mayhem is going, and teleportation is a big help in that, and Bridget can read these various, she can recognize the thinking. I guess that just about covers Mayhem. I appreciate her multiple appeals to Tandy, and we do see there at the end she was gonna shoot, I think they call him Solomon, who clearly is not this hardened, that's the thing with organized crime. If you just target absolutely everyone, there's gonna be some people in there who, they didn't really have much of a choice, and they're not really these just completely ruthless people, at least yet. And she doesn't distinguish between, guess that, yeah, and also just, her using the truck to ram. Are they like purposefully doing a Terminator thing? Because that felt very Terminator. And I suppose, yeah, I guess we're going to find out what happens to, on the show. I'm sure it's been covered in the comics as well, but some things have been changed from the comics. But what happens on the show when you get cloaked by Cloak and his cloak? Because she's not just like completely gone. She walks up, opens the refrigerator, and he offers awkward reunion pancakes, which, yeah. See, that's one of those things. It's even creepier when the person starts moving and talking. It's already creepy to find a dead body in your refrigerator. I mean, we've all been there, but it's creepy. But when the guy starts talking, that's, yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to. I don't think, I really hope that this is not the last we see of Mayhem as like, because she's a cool threat. I mean, there is still the gang war and such, so there wouldn't be nothing. But yeah, yes, I think that covers Mayhem. Excuse me, I really thought I cleared my throat sufficiently. I've been recording a lot of videos recently. That's why I'm struggling to recover my voice fully. Yes, so not a lot to say about Mina, so we'll cover that. I like that apparently as soon as she recovers, she started doing research, and she's wearing like this shirt that says hope on it. So yeah, she rediscovered hope. Really, really happy to see it. And also really glad that she did survive. I was slightly unclear on it, but yeah, I mean, once at the very end of the season 1 finale, they did take out the power. I could see how that could unpossess all the terrors, and they were careful to not kill Mina. They just stunned her. Yeah, but yeah, she's testing, yeah, testing on these mice, and she's like, if this doesn't work out, we're gonna have to get a real job. Maybe I could be a baker, which, I mean, I hate to see someone not being able to live out their dream, unless their dream is terrible. But she would make an amazing baker. This we know. And then she says, maybe we can do that together, like that movie. Oh, Rakakuni. And then we have the, yeah, the mouse splits in two. Very nicely done. We just saw her draw an 11, or write an 11 on the side of it. So when we see two mice with 11s on them, we understand. And so does she, like, because at the end of the day, like, is that a clone of the other mouse? Or is it just that another mouse happened to appear? Because that, I'm not sure this is even the weirdest thing that Mina has experienced recently. But no, that's clearly the same mouse. And, one of them's got murder in its eyes and not a song in its heart, unfortunately. And yeah, it kills the other one. Really, really, yeah. Very, very disturbing to see. And yeah, Mayhem was also about to do that with Bridget. She was gonna like use a pillow to suffocate her in the hospital bed. I am glad she failed. I do appreciate that they addressed that, because it is like, okay, so she's been around for 8 months and doesn't like what Bridget is doing, but doesn't do anything. But yeah, she was just, yeah. But yeah, she ultimately doesn't suffocate her with the pillow. She just puts the pillow under her head and leaves her there, which I guess means there's a bunch of Bridget O'Reilly truthers out there who would say, oh, look, there is a pillow on the bed. Clearly suffocation, just like the that Supreme Court judge whose name escapes me at the moment. Seriously, conservatives will make up a conspiracy about anything. He died of natural causes. Let it go. Now, let's see. What was the other thing? Yeah, I really appreciated that's, the titular duo and Bridget go to talk to Mina because, she is the foremost expert on terrors now. Yeah. I'm not 100% certain if she did tell them that she was going to be doing this research or they just figured, but yeah, she tries to solve the problems with science that she encounters in in her life. We see now I'm wondering if that was Mayhem or no, yeah, I think it's got to be Mayhem, but yeah, Mayhem, stepping out of the water, and we saw some of that at the very end of season 1. I don't remember the quite so many nasty, gnarly, sloshy sounds, but I'm here for it. Serves well as a reintroduction. I think that does cover Mina as well. So, yeah, oh, right, yeah. I guess there's a little bit more with Mayhem. I am not going to pretend I 100% understand why Ty's mother said no to investigating Connor's partner. Is it like maybe she's worried that trying to confront the police just leads to bad results, to consequences? That's really the only thing I can figure right now. Maybe it'll be explained later. Understandably, the community is upset about it, and he doesn't even feel guilty. He's just like, oh, they're just blaming us for, even though he clearly has done at least some things wrong. I wasn't 100% clear on if he did this too, but he certainly did other things wrong. And yeah, so him saying, oh, they're always blaming the cops and we're innocent is ridiculous. And yeah, she I like the thing, oh no, it's not the carburetor, someone stole your spark plug. Who's got 2 thumbs, is an evil twin, and steals spark plugs. This girl, so, but yeah, I mean, she practically is telling, I don't think she ever does come right out and tell him, but yeah, pretty close. And then she assaults him and does slit his throat, and it is this thing of like, that was evidently the first time she did that. And there's like, she pauses, but she does say to Father Delgado that she didn't actually feel bad. And there's this great line about, if I have a soul, it's not in this body. That's what I guess, the terror suppresses your soul, your goodness, gracious great balls of fire. And with Bridget, she was split in 2, so one body just does not have the soul. And despite not being quite like the other terrors. Yeah, I think that does entirely cover me. Oh, right, I also appreciate, she's like goading him on to buy liquor, and then later she gets him liquor, she's an agent of chaos. And it also felt pretty natural, the way she got her name. Although, did she say... No, yeah, I feel like at least once they refer to her as Mayhem. But, it starts with Bridget just declaring that this is mayhem, or this is causing mayhem, something like that. Spreading mayhem. Yes. So, Tandy... People keep demanding that she give them a minute. you realize she is headed towards a time transplant at this rate. I appreciate getting a little bit more clarity on. I wasn't 100% certain what the light ball did at the end of the episode before this one, but yeah, here it's clear. No, yeah, it is like blind. The light is nothing to them but blinding. And yeah, that is a very effective, tactic against, this building full of gangsters. And I haven't decided yet how I feel about, because these couple of episodes have shown a lot of well, let's see, New Orleans, are they African American? People of color, as gang members. Yeah, I'm trying to not, because I am aware that not, having dark skin technically doesn't mean that necessarily. Yeah. I'm moving on. Yeah, there's a lot of yeah, dark-skinned gangsters gang members in these couple of episodes. And like, on the one hand, because we know that like Tyrone was like headed a little bit in that direction, before, and his brother was killed, and he was also having dealings with gang members. So it's not like the show is saying that, and we do have Solomon in this episode. It's not like this show is saying, it's not at this point, that all, that if you have anything to do with the gang, by definition you're an evil person. I think the idea is that Ty believes that this will be better for everyone, including the gang members. I mean, I can't help but notice he's not killing them, he's taking action that he's been told could get them killed, but he does actually, when he heard, oh, there's going to be a mediator, he didn't jump to the conclusion of, oh no, this, they should, he doesn't think they should be killed or something. He just wants the negative effects to end. So I think that's what the show is going for. And I understand that the show, the showrunner, some of the people who work on the show, they wanted to make it realistic, and they were trying to also be sensitive to the fact that, depictions of a lot of dark-skinned individuals as gang members can also have can lead some people to think that, oh, all black people are, which is of course ridiculous. And it's one of those things like, what about all the white conservative men who are, domestic terrorists? There's a huge, and in general, violent towards innocent people. So, does that mean that all us white people are just lost causes? Obviously not. Now, you look to what led to that, and you try to deal with that. For a lot of criminals, it's it's issues of like access to money and work and such. And a lot of the white conservatives who end up violent, it's because they feel frustration. A number of their problems are not being solved, and some of that is also jobs and money. They're just unfortunately attacking the wrong people who don't have anything to do with it. Immigrants, African Americans, etc. Now, I think that pretty well covers. Yeah, let's see. I really appreciate that Tandy, over the course of this episode, she is like, I mean, are we sure we want to stop Mayhem and not just, like, let her do her thing? Because this is, she is actually, because at the end, and I love, Ty pointing out the shoot first, ask questions later approach is what got my brother killed. And that actually does make Tandy realize, okay, you know what, you're right. Because at the end of the day, like, Tandy, she spent all these years without justice for her father. She wishes that someone would have gone and just put an end to that. Whereas Tyrone, realizes that you can't just charge in. They say only fools do that. I think that does bring us nicely to the after they free the right, no, actually, I'm mixing things up again. When they find the girls that were, I guess, Mayhem freed, and she checks, what are her hopes and dreams to find out, and there's nothing. She has no hopes and dreams, which is just absolutely devastating. And I kind of want there to be like an alternate take of the scene where when she says, "There's nothing. I touched her and there was nothing. She has no hope," where we see like the girl's reaction, because to her this must sound like, what are they even talking about? Like, for the audience, we understand, and Ty, but yeah. I think that pretty well covers Tandy. I do kind of appreciate, by the end of the episode, what would have happened to Tandy if Mayhem hadn't killed the guy. It feels like this kind of Cronenbergian thing of like, no, you should make up your own mind. She's not all evil, and the good guys are not 100% able to stop everything on their own. And with Mayhem, they're doing that thing that every so often vigilantism story will do, where, what if a vigilante was going way too far, which I do think are incredibly important stories to tell. As long as we're going to have vigilantism stories, we gotta question how far is too far. At what point does it cease to be this fun, cathartic story and just becomes promoting something? There's been Punisher stuff with this. Actually, I think Punisher started out as an example of someone going too far, and then he was so popular that they gave him a bunch of stories on his own. But I think that is what I have to say about Tandy. So, Tyrone. I was a little surprised. Maybe it's coming up in one of the next episodes. I kept expecting him to be completely, like, out of breath and like, not be able to recover quickly enough. Maybe at some point he needs to use his power, but he can't because he hasn't recovered, because he's using his powers a lot in this episode. I could imagine it'll happen in one of the next ones. And like, evidently he is able to choose when to cloak, because he was clearly purposefully doing that to Mayhem. And I think, that's the basic, the basic overview. So let's see, at the start of the episode, he manages to teleport them away. I like that Mayhem, like, gave them, I forget her exact line, but she did, like, I think she was saying, well, Tandy, should we go free these people? And only when Tandy clearly isn't joining her does she actually, start firing. So, good bit of characterization there. And Tandy's understandably surprised that he's now, but he can do that now. And then I think, what was the other thing that I already talked about her wondering if it's right. And right, I really want there to be a blooper of, after Bridget, picks up the playing cards and says, "Come here," where she then proceeds to say, "I want you to watch while I play solitaire." And let's see, I guess that does pretty much cover. Yeah, I really appreciated that he immediately clocked Solomon as someone to protect. There's no sense of like, oh, this guy's putting on an act or something. No, he can tell this is, he probably sees Billy, maybe himself, in Solomon. And yeah, that is pretty much it. I can't help but notice that in this entire episode, every single establishment that has any kind of what's the word, sex worker connection, they have a connection to the human traffickers. Now, I don't know enough about New Orleans to say if that is accurate. I mean, an argument could be made that it's just, well, they're only going to places that Mayhem already realized this has a connection to that. So it's not, sex work is one of those things. Nobody should be forced into it. Personally, I don't think anybody should be forced into any kind of work. We should seek to inspire passion. There's a lot of cases throughout history where people were passionate about their job. Obviously, for many, they had to take the job of their father and such, and not everybody's going to be a big fan of that, obviously. One of the things we see in the movie Coco. But let's see, it was really industrialism that separated people from the fruits of their labor. And since then, we've had this thing of, you shouldn't, if you don't love your job, you just, you feel free to quit. Somebody else will take that job, kind of thing. But I think we should strive towards getting back to, because any job that's important to do, you're going to be able to find at least a number of people that are going to be passionate about that are going to realize this is, I'm really doing something that is important, worthwhile. And if we're struggling to find enough people like that to because, I do realize there is a number of jobs that need doing. Anyway, grammar. Yes, there's, you could try to inspire, people, maybe add other incentives, something like that. Anyway, the idea that sex work is always involuntary and that nobody at all has any kind of positive experience with it, that is a myth. I'm not sure I would say that the show is necessarily propagating that myth so much as it is underlining that, yeah, there is a definite connection between a number of places that employs sex workers and human trafficking, and that is an absolute, that is 100% true. And we do need, human trafficking is a problem that needs to be dealt with. And that's one of the, QAnon isn't wrong about everything, just almost. Adrenochrome. Anyway, let's see. Yes. I appreciate that they don't get too male-gazy. Like, they show some, various sex work over the course of these scenes at, sex worker. But the camera isn't, like, ogling them, and I don't think I would really say they show more than is needed. Like, they're making clear, yeah, this is a place where a lot of sex work takes place, And yeah, because like, once the sex workers, when they're not being forced into it, we're not seeing them sexualized. And the human trafficking victims are all clearly like scared and anxious and just want to get away from there. Which again, like, there's, I wish I was joking, but there are pieces of media made here in the West where the they will sexualize human trafficking. Ah, wait, is it victim or survivor? But yeah, yeah, they'll sexualize them, and otherwise show them in really exploitative, where here it felt much more sensitive and respectful. Yeah, I think that's everything for this episode. So, yeah. Um, I let's see. I think that, yeah. I should be able to do an episode sometime tomorrow, so look out for that. Gonna come at you pretty quick, either duck or catch.